Do you, like most people, spend hundreds of dollars a year, hundreds of euros a year, hundreds of pounds a year on personal grooming? Today's video is a little bit different to what we normally produce here, but not completely outside the brief because it falls into the nostalgia category. But unlike the other videos we produce, which simply tells you about things in the past, this one will actually help you save money by simply shaving like your granddad. Let me explain. I'm sure most of you will use either an electric razor, that's fine, but to be honest, if you're over 15, doesn't really do the job. Or you'll probably use one of these, which keep changing about every couple of months to tell us that it's so much better than the previous one. Along with one of these, you have to buy a pack of these, which are roughly about $20, €20, etc., for four. €20 or more for four. And last you a few shaves. They tell you that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blades. Yeah, marvelous. Except what they don't tell you is that if you have any way of a strong beard, any kind of a strong beard, it simply clogs between the blades and is almost impossible to clean. So it's expensive. It's not very environmentally friendly because there's a lot of plastic in the blade that you've then to dispose of. And it doesn't really do the job as marvelously as they say it does. Oh, it has all these strips here for saving you getting razor burn. But does it save you getting razor burn when you are actually sandpapering your face with the hair that's just come off your face? Now, there's also these rather expensive ones, which I think are quite good, but extremely expensive. And then, along with your razor, you will use one of these, a shaving can of shaving gel, or a tub of shaving cream, tube of shaving cream, I should say. Now, they will get you more or less the same, roughly 50 shaves. If you don't shave very often, or maybe like me, you only shave part of your face, they might get you 60 shaves. Now, let's take you back to shaving like your granddad, and I'll explain to you how it'll save you some money. Your granddad used, or your dad, depending on your age, used probably one of these, or more than likely, in more recent years, from the 60s onwards or so, one of these. Now, why are they an advantage? Well, they're an advantage for a number of reasons. There is some expense in initially changing your shaving habits this way, because along with one of these, you can still use your shaving cream or shaving foam, but if you want to really do it authentically, you want a shaving bowl or a shaving soap of some kind and a shaving brush. Now, like most things, this shaving bowl, I think, is around about 10, 15 euro, so somewhere between $15, $20, less in pound. Now, this shaving brush would be near enough to €100 because it's a badger hairbrush. This one's a synthetic brush, cheap and cheerful. You get it for €5, €10. Wouldn't recommend it though. The bristles are hard, nasty, and they don't absorb water like the badger brush does. The badger brush actually absorbs water and stays wet. That is a bit like the water just runs off it and it stays coarse and bristly. So if you were thinking of changing to more traditional shaving, it is worth investing in a badger hair brush. Now, the difference between this razor and this razor, well, obviously, that's a safety razor. That's much safer than this. This one requires a bit of courage and a bit of learning how to hold it, how to use it. I'm not going to do that in this video. There are plenty of videos on YouTube to show you how to use a straight, or rather gruesomely entitled cutthroat razor. The safety razor for somebody switching from this method or the electric razor is probably the safest way to go. A good one of these again will cost you, well, can cost you from around about €100. If you want to go really luxury and get a damask one, it can cost you four figures. It can cost you nearly €1,000. But if you're serious and you want to do that, fine. But to get a decent one, this is a cheap one. You'll get this one around €20. If you're going to be using it all the time, you'll have to get a decent one for around €100. You'll also need a razor strap, which is not that expensive for sharpening it. But the best fallback position, and the position that I'd recommend, is a safety razor. Now, why will this save you hundreds of dollars a year? Well, between this and the shaving soap, it will save you hundreds of dollars a year. As I said, that shaving soap cost about €15, €10 to €15. You can actually get some Gillette ones in some places for as little as €3 or €4, and they're perfectly good in a plastic bowl. I have had that one. I was given that as a Christmas present last year, not this year, last year, and I will show you how much of it is used. That will last me best part of another 12 months at least. So we're looking at, now admittedly I have a beard, I only shave the side of my face, and I tend to do it every other day rather than every day. I don't mind it getting a little bit bristly, and then I shave it every other day. If you shave every day and you shave your full face, it'll still last you over a year, as opposed to one of these which lasts 50 shaves. So if you shave your face every day, you're looking a little over a month. Well, if we say they're around half the price of that, you're getting 2 months out of one of those, as opposed to 12 months or to 18 months to 2 years out of this. Also, your safety razor takes these blades, good old-fashioned razor blades like your father or your grandfather used to use. They're an iconic design. They've lasted a very long time. A pack of these will cost you €5, about £4, about $4 or $5. That's a pack of 10. The little plastic packet also acts as a safety disposal unit for the blades. I need to change the blade in my razor, so I'll show you what I mean. So you have this one piece of plastic, as opposed to every one of these blades having plastic on it to dispose of. You simply slide the blade out like this. Now always be careful with these blades. They're sharp on either side. You always handle them by the sides like that. Now you simply twist this to open up your razor. Remove your blade. Now when you remove your blade, you will see in the plastic there is a little gap in the bottom where you can slide the used blade into there, and it's disposed of safely. The new blade is usually in a paper folder. I'm a bit fingers and thumbs and can't see very well here. Get this open. Now, as I say, be careful, always handle by the ends. Do not grab it by the sides because that's the sharp bit. Now, you simply just, there's a, if you can see it there, there's a bar in the middle. You slip the blade on to the bar and it drops down. Now, what will happen is that when you tighten this up, it'll push up and the blade will actually take on a curve, ready to shave you. This has another advantage. That when you're shaving, when it clogs, you simply loosen this a bit to give you a bigger gap and run the water over it and it will unclog. So, unlike one of these, which, as I say, after the first or second pass is sandpapering your face, one of these you can clear easily. Now, I will say, you've two sides on this, you've blades on two sides. You can use it that way, and then use the blade the other, whatever way you want. I will say that these blades are very fine and tend to blunt a little quicker than these do. So I'm not saying you will get as many shaves out of one of these as you will out of one of these. But you'll certainly get as many shaves out of two of these as you will out of one of these. So it still works out considerably cheaper. So all in all, if you add it up over the year, if you take in your shaving cream, your brush, and your razor, you will actually be saving hundreds of dollars over the year. And whatever modern advertising tells you, you will get as good, if not better, shave with one of these. Now, I do realize, although these are called safety razors, these have wires and so on to make it harder to cut yourself. You will, especially when you're using one of these at first, nick yourself an odd time, but it's a little nick. Bit of Vaseline, or you can buy a styptic pencil which you just rub on and it'll be gone. As you get more proficient with them, you won't really nick yourself. So, as with a lot of things, our parents and grandparents actually recycled and used things more frugally than we do. We have this great idea that we recycle everything and so on, but our grandparents basically reused, recycled, and saved things better than we do. As I say, that design, I can remember that. I'm 67. I can remember my father using that design of a little plastic box where the blades went into the back when I was young. And it hasn't changed. This, you have this plastic case. You have plastic on all of these. And you're paying $25, $30 for a pack of 4, where you're paying $5 for a pack of 10 there. Now, to me, I don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments, but to me, that's a no-brainer. I was a barber in the 70s, 80s, and we learned to use cutthroats. They're a tricky thing. The cutthroats have a couple of disadvantages. One of the most obvious ones is I would not use this unless you're very brave. I would not use this for any kind of body or intimate grooming. I would use a safety razor, or maybe even have one of the other ones that you can use for that. But I wouldn't particularly recommend this for body grooming or intimate grooming. The second thing is, if you're traveling, this will need to go in your checked in luggage. You would probably be able to take that in hand luggage on a plane. If you're making a short trip and you're only bringing a small bag, you'll be able to take this on a plane in your hand luggage. This, I can almost guarantee, you will not be able to take in your hand luggage. So they're a couple of, and as I say, these, even average ones, are expensive. But that said, even with this one, you're buying new blades every few months. Not very expensive, but you're buying new blades every few months. You buy a good one of these in a razor strop, and it will last you forever. You'll never buy a razor or a blade again. So I know this has been a bit different. It's kind of looking at how things were done in the past and how it can help us today. If you like more videos like that, let us know. I'd certainly be happy to do them. In the meantime, if you're into nostalgia stuff, please take a look at our other videos, and you could help the channel considerably by liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell for when we're dropping some more. I hope this hasn't thrown you too much of a curveball. It was just something I got into my head, decided might be an idea to do. As I say, although it's different to what we normally do, it's still within the realm of nostalgia and how things were in the past. So I thought it worth doing. So let me know if it's convinced you to make the change, or if you've already made the change, how it is for you. Or if you have any questions, I will look up a few links for the shaving brushes and for the razors and etc., and put them down below where you can get most of these things. But they're relatively easy to get. You'll get shaving brushes and soaps from most barbers, and even soaps in your local supermarket, mall, whatever. But until then, slán agus beannacht.